We know NoCo. From Town Square Media, this is Tuned Into NoCo. I'm Ashlee Meehleis. All right, next up on Tuned Into NoCo, we have the director of the Northern Colorado Wildlife Center, Tallon Nightwalker, with us. So, Tallon, thanks for being here in our studio. It's great.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, always happy to be here.
Yeah. Before we jump in, can you tell our listeners what the Northern Colorado Wildlife Center does?
Yeah, so Northern Colorado Wildlife Center is a local nonprofit, and we're based out of Fort Collins. We actually just 4 months ago opened up a new wildlife hospital in Fort Collins on the east side. But besides just the actual care of sick, injured, orphan animals, our organization does a lot of environmental education, so visiting schools and booths at community events and churches and things like that. And then we also do habitat improvement services to try to keep the local wildlife habitats safe for both the animals that we're releasing back into them, but also the folks there to visit them.
Wow, that's super neat. So you guys stay pretty busy, huh?
Oh, so busy.
Yeah, speaking of, before we started this interview, you were talking about a location change. Can you let our listeners know what that is?
Yeah, so we did change the location on our upcoming litter cleanup event. So we do 2 litter cleanups every month, and we do have one coming up on Saturday, January 21st. That got changed from City Park in Fort Collins to Prospect Ponds Natural Area in Fort Collins.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of, let's talk more about this event. What is the Prospect Ponds cleanup?
Yeah, so when folks come out to Prospect Ponds to clean up litter with us, we try to get them a little bit more than just picking up trash. You know, that's not fun for anyone, but it is really important for giving back. And, you know, we remove a ton of fishing litter, fishing hooks, weights, everything like that, you know, cans that animals could get stuck on their head and things. But what we do that's unique about it is we have, you know, trained environmental educators come out with us, and they can point out all the stuff that you might miss just taking a quick walk through it. And so you can identify local wildlife species. We can talk about the different seasonality effects that natural area goes through and how migration season hits and affects that area. You know, really any question that you have about animals or that ecosystem, we'll have someone there to answer them.
That's really cool. And people can register for this event, correct?
Yes. It's free to attend. There's no cost. But yeah, we do ask that folks to register for it, just so we make sure that we're not taking too big of a crowd out onto the natural area and damaging the ecosystem. So.
Absolutely. No, that's great. Where can they register? Just on your website?
Yeah, on our website, if there's an events tab there, or on our social media channels on Facebook or Instagram, there's a link there too in our bio that they can get that link.
Awesome. Well, that sounds super cool. You guys heard that Prospect Ponds litter cleanup is happening Saturday, January 21st. It's going to be from 10 to 12 p.m. at the Prospect Ponds Natural Area. You get to help clean up litter, fishing line, and other things from the Prospect Ponds area. You also can learn more about the animals that are there. Registration is required, though, so make sure to hit up nocowildlife.org to register for that event. You guys also have another event coming up, actually a week before this one, Wildlife Hero Training. What is that?
Yeah, so the Wildlife Hero classes, we just hit our 1-year anniversary on offering those. And that was actually funded through a grant that Larimer County provided us. And now that the grant is up, we found out the program's successful, so we're going to continue offering one Wildlife Hero class every month for the rest of the year. And it will be at our facility, at our wildlife rehab facilities in our classroom. So not only will folks be able to come and learn how to safely intervene when they find a wild animal in distress, but they'll actually be able to see behind the scenes of our wildlife hospital and exactly what we're doing to protect and conserve our local our local wildlife.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, registration's also required for that one. Again, it's free. There's no charge. We don't want money to stand in the way of somebody receiving education. But we only do have so many seats in our classroom. And
Right.
but yeah, folks will come. They'll be able to, tell when they are maybe doing yard work or driving to work. If they come up on an animal that needs their help, maybe they got hit by a car, they're sick or something like that. We'll walk people through how to appropriately intervene and when to reach out to a professional, maybe that mountain lion that you found is not safe for you to take on. And so who do you contact to get that animal to help?
Way cool. So what is the cap? How many seats do you guys have available for this class?
We have about 30 seats available. And I think we still have, last I checked, about 10 or 11 seats still open. So
Cool. And you said that this is an annual training?
So this is a monthly.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be monthly. Yeah, it's going to be offered monthly. We have found that there's so many amazingly compassionate folks in our communities, but nobody really expects to come up on an animal needing their help, let alone a wild animal needing their help.
Right.
And so we're just, hopefully this will help provide a lot more guidance to folks and lead to more animals getting help in the long run.
Absolutely, for sure. Again, you guys heard that they have a couple of great events coming up this month. Wildlife Hero Training is happening Saturday, January 14th from 12 to 1 p.m. It's going to be at the Northern Colorado Wildlife Center. You can learn how to safely intervene when you find a wild animal in need. Registration is required, so make sure to head to NoCoWildlife.org to register for that. Now, I know you kind of went into it, but do you have any specific stories that you can talk about on how you've seen this training help?
Yeah, it was really great when we offered it because it only took 2 days for it to show its effectiveness in our community, because I offered my first one in March of 2022, and it was at a fire department in Loveland. And then 2 days later, we got a call from someone in Fort Collins that said, "Hey, I attended your class. I just saw 3 geese get hit by a car crossing Mulberry." And, because they knew exactly how to intervene and how to contact us and everything, we were able to get someone there, I think, in like 2 minutes to help those animals.
Wow.
But we've also had folks that found, so like something we talk about in the class is how to address animals on glue traps that you find, whether it's birds or snakes or lizards or something that get stuck on them. We'll also talk about the humane solution, the replacement to glue traps that won't hurt animals. But we've also had folks that find snakes on there, and they're not, it's the worst thing you could do for an animal stuck on a glue trap is try to rip it off. And so thankfully we've seen a pretty steep decrease in those kind of cases, and folks instead are just bringing the animal with the whole glue trap to us, to the point where we can use our denaturing solution to remove the adhesive and without damaging the animal. They have to have a bubble bath afterwards, but that's the least of their worries.
No, seriously, that's incredible.
We cover a lot in that class, and there will be folks that they'll be able to have take-home materials too to set them up for success on when they find an animal.
So a lot of great things going on. I remember as a kid at camp seeing those glue traps, and I wouldn't even know how to. That's really interesting. So it's an actual solution that you just spray on, or you put on. That's how we get the animals off. We use Q-tips, and it's a painstaking process. And sometimes we have to hook the animal up on oxygen or give them some pain meds before. But we can slowly remove them without tearing any skin or taking off too many feathers or anything like that. And especially living in our state too, or definitely outdoorsy state, it's important to know all of these things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we'll cover birds, mammals, reptiles, amphibians in that class. It'll be very comprehensive.
Really cool. Now, aside from this class, if people are interested in getting involved by volunteering, what should they know?
Yeah, so with our expanded hospital, we do need a lot more help, and we need some really reliable, compassionate folks that want to come in. And they can either reach out through the form on our website, the NoCoWildlife.org that you mentioned, or they can just email our volunteer coordinator, Kate, directly. Her email is kate@NoCoWildlife.org, and just express the interest, and we can have a conversation and figure out where you want to plug in, whether it's education volunteer or animal care, patient care, or maybe it's maybe you want to be a rescue service, volunteer. So
and you even have that Prospect Ponds litter cleanup happening on the 21st, and people could sign up for that as well. So a lot of things. Yeah. So we offer both, the several monthly programs that are just public volunteer opportunities. Okay.
And then we have kind of the behind the scenes internal volunteerism where folks can sign up for like a weekly reoccurring shift where they can come in and help feed baby animals or clean enclosures or provide medical care. We only have 3 staff members as a nonprofit and about 70 volunteers, and so we heavily rely on volunteers to make our world go round.
That's super cool, and you can get more involved with you guys and what you're doing. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So, and speaking of getting involved in this, what's your background? How did you start with NoCo Wildlife?
I feel like a really weird background in this field, but it's very unique, and I'm happy for it. I started going into a wildlife rehabilitation facility when I was 5 years old. My dad was the director of a facility, and we lived like an hour away from it, though. But my school is really close, and so when my parents split up when I was 5, my dad would just go pick me up at school at like 3, take me to work with him until 6. We just do that for his working days, and of course, the work quality and ethic of a 5-year-old is not great. And so, but as I was able to grow and learn more, and I was able to do more and be more helpful, and I went from just learning how to feed baby animals, and then worked my way up till I was 18, and I was able to get my state license from Colorado Parks and Wildlife for wildlife rehabilitation. I worked as a facility supervisor at another place for 7 years, and then 6 years ago I founded NoCo Wildlife. So that's kind of my background now, and I'm still one of our licensed wildlife rehabilitators, and then I'm also our executive director. So
that's great. Now, how many years have you been doing this?
Oh, I think 2023 is going to be 21 years now.
Wow.
So I know, So
that's amazing.
It's put some city miles on me, but I can't imagine a better job. I love working with these animals, and we see several thousand animals a year, and so it's a really great way to give back and make an impact in the environment.
And with all the animals you've seen, how have you seen NoCo Wildlife Center directly impact our community?
So for when I was volunteering at the old facility that used to be in Fort Collins, that closed in 2012, and Larimer County and Weld County had to go for the last 10 years without a rehab facility.
Really?
And so if you take into consider last year, we got 2,800 calls. That's 2,800 animals every year that didn't receive help for those 10 years because other facilities, while they tried their best in the state, there's not that many of them, and they reached capacity concerns extraordinarily quick. So there was a fire under us to expand our hospital. We started with reptiles and amphibians and took in those, and then just fundraised and really found a lot of great compassionate supporters. And then, we finally able to afford rent in a facility, and that was what gave us enough space to expand into a lot of the bird and mammals because their enclosures, their recovery enclosures just take up more space and things like that. And now we can, we're working on getting our x-ray machine back and stuff so that we can really, work to mimic human medicine. But just the amount of animals that we've had folks bring to us, or the amount of community members, hundreds every year that reach out for advice on humane solutions. Yeah. Maybe they have a woodpecker drilling on their house or a squirrel chewing wires in their car, and we can provide non-lethal humane advice to that on how to evict that animal and prevent that issue. And so hopefully we're saving folks not only heartache and headache, but also protecting their assets and their property too, and promoting a sense of coexistence within our community.
Absolutely. Do you guys have a number people can call if they're dealing with any of these things? They'd like more info?
Yeah. So our phone number is 970-283-7822. And that is both for wildlife emergencies and for general inquiries. So that will go, and that phone number, of course, is answered. Our open hours are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day for new patient admissions, but we will answer calls outside of those hours as well.
Perfect. So. Thank you. Well, I know that you got a busy day ahead of you. Before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
No, I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate all the listeners and all the wildlife heroes out there. And if you ever find an animal that needs help, bring it over to our hospital, and we'll get any kind of medical and husbandry care it needs to get back in the wild.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you guys, NoCo Wildlife is having 2 events this month. So they're doing Wildlife Hero Training. That's Saturday, January 14th. And they're also doing Prospect Ponds Litter Cleanup. That will be January 21st. If you like more information or how to register, you can head to nocowildlife.org. You also can give them a call at 970-283-7822. That's 970-283-7822. Tallon, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to What Matters in NoCo. I'm Ashlee Meehleis with Town Square Media's Tuned Into NoCo. If you missed part of the show, you can find it on your Town Square Media station app or website. If you or your organization would like to be considered for Tuned Into NoCo, send me an email at ashlee.meehleis@townsquaremedia.com. That's ASHLEE.MEEHLEIS@townsquaremedia.com.